All right, so I'm going to get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for the part 2 of our Getting Involved workshops for public health students. And I believe there are some global health students as well, so welcome. We have Jennifer with us today from AIP, who will be talking about AIP, UCDC, and UC Center Sacramento opportunities. So I'm going to let her introduce herself quickly, and then we can get started with the presentation. Thank you.
Great, thanks so much, Gina. I just want to make sure because my little green box around my screen share stops. I want to make sure everyone can see my screen still for the presentation. It says I'm sharing my screen, but
it looks
no,
great.
There we go. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Homrich. I work within the Teaching and Learning Commons at the Academic Internship Program. I'm an internship counselor there, so I do work with a few majors, mostly political science and international business, international relations, econ. But I'm also the program coordinator for the UC Washington program for UCSD, as well as the UC Center Sacramento program. We're going to have Julia, who is one of my peer advisors, and she'll be joining us a little later to talk about the academic internship program. But I just wanted to throw that out there. There will be hopefully one more person joining. So today's workshop, we're going to talk about some experiential learning opportunities for public health majors, but all of these programs are open to all majors. So if you're not a public health major, that's perfectly fine. Experiential learning is the academic internship program's fancy way of saying internships that allow you to take what you learn in the classroom and experience it in a job setting. So today we're going to be briefly covering 3 main programs: the academic internship program, the UC Washington Center, commonly known as UCDC, and the UC Center Sacramento, also known as UCCS.
So I just want to briefly go over where these opportunities can apply towards your public health elective area if you're a public health major. So AIP 197 or in the UC Center Sacramento experiences can be applied by petition to your major's additional public health elective area. No more than 8 units between these experiential opportunities that are pass no pass, which are the 195, 198s, and AIP 197s can be used towards your upper division requirements. So it's something to keep in mind when applying for an AIP 197 for the major requirement. But the UC Center Sacramento and the UCDC also have courses that you can petition just like any other course that you might study abroad or do outside of UC San Diego and petition that can also apply towards your public health major requirements. To begin this process of pre-approval, you would be, the information's on our website under Beyond the Classroom, and you can make an appointment to go over how to go through the steps of the pre-approval form. And you could also just reach out or look at our website if you have any questions. But the main part, especially for AIP 197s or these experiences, is to first be accepted into the program and to get the internship, and then you go through the process of petitioning for public health major credit. As long as it's a public health related opportunity, it should be approved as long as you go through all of the steps required. So I'm going to pass it back off to Jennifer now. Jennifer, can you hear me?
Can you hear me too?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about planning for the UC Washington program. Applications open 2 quarters prior to the quarter you would wish to participate. So for example, we're currently taking applications for the spring 2023 and summer 2023 programs. So we do recommend that you begin these conversations with us and your major college advisors as early as possible to see how these opportunities can fit into your academic schedules. You might be a new transfer student or transfer student on your last year. So this is another opportunity for you to take part in something outside of your classes, but definitely speaking with your academic advisors is important in that planning process. Remember, these must be pre-approved by your department, just like Dina had mentioned. In addition, some organizations require background checks, so these orgs are going to have much earlier deadlines. These include the Department of State, White House, FBI, CIA. Any high demand type of internships usually have an 8 to 12 month background check. So they would have earlier deadlines. You can apply for those organizations before you are accepted into the UC Washington program. If you do get an internship before you are accepted into the program, all you have to do is let us know. The UCDC program offers undergraduates an exciting opportunity to combine your coursework, your relevant field research, and a meaningful internship experience in our nation's capital. Students, again, are from all majors, have the opportunity to gain valuable on-the-job experience with professionals and experts working within the fields. The really great thing about UCDC is that you get to pick your own internship. So when you're looking, you should make sure the internship is interesting to you. UCDC you have the opportunity to explore a career field you've always wondered about, or even try something totally different from what you've been doing. If you could try something outside of your major that you're curious about, this is another opportunity for you to do that. On the left side of this slide are some types of organizations you can work at. Feel free to go through this list. I've listed on the right examples of organizations that UCDC interns who were public health majors have worked at before. An important note that you can absolutely intern at places like the White House and the FBI and CIA, but again, make sure you take note of the application deadlines because of those background checks. Some other public health related organizations in DC that other UCDC interns have worked at are Doctors for America, Patients for Affordable Drugs, the Senate Minority Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, and the AIDS Institute, just to name a few. But there are thousands of organizations in DC. Internships pop up every quarter that are new. So if you are interested in some of these opportunities, you can start researching some organizations in DC now, even if you plan to pursue UCDC next academic year. Just gives you an idea of what is out there. The eligibility requirements for the program. So to be eligible for the program, these requirements should be met. However, some exceptions can be made. So I'll give you a few. Usually students need the 90 units at the time of application. However, if you're somewhere between 75 and 89 units, this may not disqualify you from the program. Another example is GPA requirement. The program does prefer that you have a minimum of 2.5 or higher GPA, but maybe you really had a rough first year and realized your major wasn't the right fit for you and you ended up switching majors and your GPA may be low because of that. Those are situations we definitely look at when we're reviewing applications. So if you have any concerns about any of these requirements, feel free to reach out to me. We don't want some of these items to feel like a barrier for you to apply. When and what you want to apply to is important to think about now. So it's important that you know a little bit about what you want to pursue prior to filling out the application to the programs. Many applications will want you to explain what, when, why you want to pursue that specific opportunity. So being able to think about it ahead of time will be good. The UCDC application in itself, we do ask that you have thought a little bit about what you might want to pursue and add it to your application, as well as creating a cover letter or a letter of interest as part of the application. This helps alleviate some of the legwork you're going to be pursuing once you are admitted into the program, since you will have to develop these items for applying for internship organizations. Letters of recommendation are something you'll also want to begin considering. They do take a while to obtain from your recommenders. During the remote environment that we've all experienced for the last couple of years, we do realize asking for letters of recommendation may be more difficult because you don't have that connection with faculty, maybe that you would have if you were in-person classes. So we are being flexible in the number of letters you need as part of your application. However, some organizations may still require you to have 2 or more letters of recommendation. So these letters can be from faculty, former or current employers, anyone that can speak on your work. We do not accept peer-to-peer letters of recommendations. During the academic year, students are full-time and enroll for a minimum of 12 units. You get these 12 units by taking 2 courses. One is AIP 197 DC. This is a course that gets you units back for your internship that you're partaking in. The units do depend on the amount of hours you are interning. And this course is also only for pass, no pass, and will not count back toward any major requirements. The other course you will enroll in is your research seminar, which students will take one of the placeholder courses. This course can be pass, no pass, and for taken for a letter grade. Again, this research seminar course, you'll want to talk back to your major departments to see how you can apply it back to your major and what the petition process will be if there is one. Program costs. So university tuition fees are the same as a regular quarter on campus. Since you're considered a UCSD student during your participation, financial aid does still apply. All accepted participants' names are submitted to the financial aid office, and students can meet with the financial aid office to get additional information about this. But again, it's just like taking another quarter on campus, and financial aid will be aware that you will be doing a quarter in Washington. The estimated budget of living in DC is submitted to financial aid as well, so they might know that the cost of living in DC might be a little bit more for that particular quarter for you, and at times will adjust your financial aid award packages to the differences in living costs. There are a couple scholarships that might be available. This year, there's a University of California Office of the President has a presidential fellowship. It is need-based, and you do have to write a couple essays to get that scholarship and have to be admitted into the program before you can apply. The other scholarship opportunity is through the academic internship program. This scholarship is not something that students do not need to apply to, but it also is need-based. So when we email that list of students to the financial aid office, they let us know who would be eligible for that academic internship program fellowship. This is a brief overview of what your path to DC would look like. You're at the first step. You are planning for your participation in DC. Next, you'll be preparing your application to apply to UCDC, and then you'll go through the selection process and securing an internship with a DC organization. Throughout this whole process, the UCDC team is here to help you apply to the program and search for internship opportunities and work with you on your resume and cover letter materials. When you are applying to internships, you'll be working with the UCDC team and the UC Washington Center on your internship search as well. So you're not without support here. If you apply by the priority deadlines that we have posted, you have a higher chance of getting accepted into the program and notified earlier. If the deadline is marked open until filled, applications will continue to be reviewed on an ongoing basis until the program is full. Currently, again, we're accepting applications for spring of 2023. The priority deadline is October 21st. Then there'll be a final deadline sometime shortly after that, mid-November. And then our summer application deadline, there's only one deadline for that, and that is January 16th. And I forgot to mention that we will be taking questions at the end of our presentation today and hopefully trying to answer those questions that come through in the chat as well. But I will talk about the Sacramento program and AIP before we take questions about the programs. So hopefully you can sit on that question for a little bit. So next up, I'm going to talk about UC Center Sacramento. UC Sacramento is a program in which you live in Sacramento while working in a public policy internship, and you take courses through UC Davis. You're visiting a UC Davis student, but still a UCSD student, so you don't have to worry about that. Why would the difference between Sacramento is that you are living in the state capital area. There's more courses involved in the Sacramento program. And it is more policy-based than UCDC. The UCDC, you have a broader scope of internships you can partake in, while in Sacramento, you have more of a policy-based scope there. Students from all majors are encouraged to apply and must meet the following eligibility requirements, such as many of the eligibility requirements are just like UCDC. You do have to complete, I forgot to mention for UCDC and Sacramento, transfer students do need to complete 1 full quarter at UC to get that UC GPA. But other than that, the eligibility requirements are pretty much the same. The application is a bit different. There is an online application through the UC Center Sacramento website. You do the online application, you upload your resume, there's an essay requirement, and you upload your unofficial transcripts because this application does go through the UC Sacramento program, which is through UC Davis. So UC Davis doesn't have access to your academic records to be able to view them. But they don't have to be official, unofficial is fine. Coursework. So again, UC Sacramento is a little bit different in terms of the coursework load. You do take a total of 15 quarter units and a few mandatory classes. So more than just the one research seminar, you take about 3 classes as part of the UC Sacramento program. With UCDC, you work probably within your internship 24 to 32 hours a week. With Sacramento, you're working those 20 hours a week or less because you are taking more academic courses while you're part of the program. This is an overview of what your path to UC Sacramento looks like. Again, this is your first step. You're planning to participate in such program. Next, you're going to be preparing your application to apply to UCCS, and then you'll go through the selection process. Throughout the process, again, my team is here to help you work on that application requirement, resume if needed, and you'll connect with the Sacramento Center after you've applied to the program. So they won't be available to you until once you've been admitted into the program. Once you are admitted into the program, you work one-on-one with the UCCS director. They do an informal interview with you. They go over what your interests are and try to align a internship opportunity for you. So UCCS is more like a placement program where they give you a couple opportunities, you interview, and 99% out of the time, you've secured that internship with your first interview. With UCDC, it is not a placement program. Students are responsible for securing their own internship, but there's lots of support to help you get through that process. So these are steps to apply a health policy internship towards your public health major requirements. Just make sure you're meeting with your major department and you're meeting those public health requirements for the petition for the UCCS program. The other difference before I get into the deadlines, the other difference is that housing for UCDC is mandatory that you live in the UC Washington Center. The housing for the UC Center Sacramento is not mandatory. So if you have friends or family, colleagues, or anyone that you could room with while you're in DC for the quarter, you're more than welcome to do so. They do have limited UCCS housing. It's first come, first serve. So the sooner you get your application in for the program, the better off your chances are of securing UCCS housing if that is needed for you. But a lot of students do Airbnb. They find that that's a little cheaper for them for the quarter. All right. I see, the deadlines. So deadlines for UCCS spring 2023, it's coming up November 7th, and summer 2023, June 24th. And these are final deadlines. Sometimes they extend the deadlines, but they do not have a priority deadline like UCDC. All right, so I see that my colleague Julia is here. Julia, if you'd like to introduce yourself, your name and your major, and I'll let you take it away.
All right, thank you, Jen. Hi everyone, my name is Julia Africa, but I go by Africa. I am a double major in public health, just like that, and anthropology with a double minor in psychology and global health. And today I'll be presenting on the AIP program. So the academic internship program is you get course credit for completing an internship during an academic quarter, and the reason this program is great is because you apply classroom knowledge in professional study It allows you to fulfill public health elective requirements, explore new career options via an internship, and it's the more general of programs that have been talked about today. So there is no specific major, it is a withdrawal major, and it's offered to lower and upper division standing. So there's no minimum units required. And then next slide. And then AIP 197 is for upper division standing individuals. So for this one, sorry. So to apply, you need an internship. So there's two ways to get an internship. It's you get help securing one using AIP's internet, or you can request credit for internship you found on your own. But AIP does need to ensure it meets its internship guidelines. So to apply for AIP, you will need to find a professor who can serve as your faculty advisor or a faculty mentor. And once you have secured the internship, you also need to have a learning agreement and an easy request. So we do offer credit in the form of lower division or upper division credit. So AIP 197 is for upper division standing. 90 units must be completed, 2.5 UC GPA. These internships can give you 2 to 12 units, but most internships are for 4 units. You get to work with the UCSD faculty advisor to help develop a research paper or project related to the internship. And then AIP 97 is for lower division standing. So lower division is the minimum completed. So yeah, and then you are required to have a different UCGPA. So these are only available for 2 or 4 units, unlike the upper division one. You work with a UCSD faculty advisor to develop a research paper or project related to the internship, just like 197. And then next slide. So what to expect during the quarter? So during the quarter, there will be a group check-in during week 5 and 6. And then there will be a mid-quarter reflection week 7 and an informational interview. You're expected to track hours. Then there's going to be self-evaluation and program evaluation week 10, where you'll be turning in, and then you'll also be turning in your paper, your research paper, or your project in final day. And then your path to AIP. So first, you'll start off by applying to internship, finding a faculty advisor. You can do this as previously mentioned through internet, or finding your own with request approval. Then you'd also be asking a faculty member to be your advisor to discuss the project. And then you'll be filling out the learning agreement. So this will require you to create an internship and to details on the internship with approval. Then comes in the easy request where you download the approved learning agreement, you upload it to the easy. Then you indicate your proposed AIP paper project for approval. And then you enroll into the course. So this is pretty much just an overview of what the application path to AIP would look like.
And I'm just going to hop in here. So if you are interested in the academic internship program, as you can see, there are several steps in the process. So the earlier that you secure an internship and they are able to submit a learning agreement, the better. I know a lot of students end up submitting that learning agreement near the quarter in which they want to earn academic credit for their internship. That's okay. We have some wiggle room, but the earlier you get this stuff into us, the better off you'll be in the long run.
Thank you. And then applying for internship. So the steps using AIP 197 towards your public health major requirements after applying to AIP. So you have to submit the following items to the public health student affairs office or email it to publichealth@health.ucsd.edu. You will get the general petition, department exception mark, personal statement, which will be 1 to 2 paragraphs explaining what you did in the internship. And then a copy of the AIP learning agreement with all required signatures. So as long as your paper demonstrates the outcomes outlined in your proposal, you'll be able to apply your AIP 197 towards one upper division elective for a public health major. So after your grade has posted to AIP for AIP 197, you can submit a copy of your AIP paper to the public health advising office. And then we'll be going into the deadlines. Alright, so apply at the start of the quarter before your internship begins. For winter 2022, the learning agreement will be due September 4th. I think the dates are a little outdated, but
We will
um,
update the slide to reflect the current years. Sorry about that.
but a quarter before.
Yes.
And then you can contact us. Like that. And then you can contact us through the virtual advising center. And then you can also make an appointment with Jennifer to discuss the UCDC or UCCS program. Then the UCDC and UCCS fall in-person drop-in days are Mondays from 12 to 3. So right here at the Teaching and Learning Commons, first floor of Basel.
Perfect. Thank you, Julia. Yeah, so if you have any questions about these programs, we are available in person for UCDC in Sacramento on Mondays from 12 to 3 this fall quarter, and it'll change based on our schedules for winter and spring. AIP does have in-person drop-in hours as well. I don't remember what day those are because they were just solidified, but you can find those days on the Academic Internship Program website. And you can also find the dates for the Academic Internship Program deadlines on the AIP website as well.
Thank you both so much. So at this time, I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll be able to ask any questions.